Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Berea City Council meeting, Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. I'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please let the record reflect that a quorum is present. At this time, I would call on Council Member Teresa Centers to lead us in the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Teresa?
Most holy God, we thank you that we're able to come to you asking for your guidance as we seek to make decisions that best serve your will and all the citizens of Berea. We ask that you bless everyone present and all those in our city. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Teresa. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Steve Cottle, second by Jim Davis. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries and the agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from November 21st, 2023. Is there a motion to approve? By Jerry Little, and second by Teresa Centers. Is there any discussion, changes, or edits to be made for the minutes? Seeing none, I'll request a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes from November 21st, 2023, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, please say no. Motion carries and the minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 11-2023, purchasing policy revisions, and this is the first reading. An ordinance of the City of Berea, Kentucky, adopting a revised purchasing policy manual and amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Berea, Kentucky by revising Section 24.309 of the Code of Ordinances to remain consistent with the revised purchasing policy manual. Whereas, in Ordinance 12-2021, the City Council adopted Section 24.100 of the Berea City Code, providing for the adoption of a purchasing policy manual to guide the city officers and employees in the procurement process, and whereas the City Council desires to revise the current purchasing policy manual, and whereas consequently it is necessary to revise Section 24.309 to be consistent with the revised purchasing policies in the revised purchasing policy manual. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Berea, Kentucky, that the Code of Ordinances of the City of Berea be revised as follows. Section 1. The City of Berea hereby adopts the attached purchasing policy manual by reference herein, and a copy of such purchasing policy and manual shall be maintained in the office of the City Clerk. Section 2. That the Code of Ordinances is hereby amended to revise Section 24.309 of the Code of Ordinances so that such section shall read as follows. Upon adoption of the budget summary as provided for in Section 24.303, the City Council of the City of Berea shall be provided with a monthly detailed activity report of each line item as provided for in Sections 24.304 and Sections 24.305. This report shall list every revenue item and each expenditure item during a particular month for each line item as provided for in Sections 24.304 and 24.305. The total expenditures for each line item provided for in Section 24.307 may not exceed 10% of the line item budget or $5,000, whichever is greater, without prior approval of the City Council. Line items exceeding these thresholds, which would cause the total expenditures in any budget summary item to exceed the amount budgeted for that summary item, shall require the immediate passage, approval, and publication as required by law of the revised budget. Line items exceeding these thresholds, which would not cause total expenditures in any budget summary item to exceed the amount budgeted for that summary item, shall be accumulated until such time that the revised budget is deemed necessary to prevent budget summary items to exceed the amount budgeted for that summary item. provided, however, that in the event of an emergency declared and certified by the mayor in writing, the city administrator may make the purchase as specified in the mayor's declaration and report the purchase to the city council at the next scheduled council meeting. Section 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed. This ordinance shall be published according to law. First reading is today, December 5th, 2023, and the next second reading will be in 2 weeks. That is the first reading of ordinance number 11-2023. I'll note that a work session was held prior to the council meeting, but per past practice, I'll open the floor for any discussion on ordinance number 11-2023. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move forward. The next item on the agenda is department head reports, and today's featured speaker is our fire chief, Chief Sean Sandlin. Sean, welcome. You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. Thought I would just go over kind of a year-end review of the fire department, and as our year has been very busy. I think each department would say the same thing year after year, but it's very true. In 2021, we had 826 calls for service. In 2022, we had 910. In 2023, we're looking to finish at 1,030. We're currently at 958, but the average is showing us projected out to be around 1,030, which is a pretty good increase for us. You can relate probably 50 of those runs towards the windstorms that we had this past year around April timeframe. So even with that taken out, we still increased our runs quite a bit, and we didn't do anything to try to capture that any more than we ever do, but that's just how it fell out this year. In our training, we logged 4,871 hours of training as of December the 1st. That's an average person per person, about 203 hours of training. We're required by the state to have 100, so you can see that my staff goes above and beyond and basically doubled their training this year. And with everything else that we got going on, that is saying a lot for them. Not only do we do our in-house training for ourselves and going outside in the state, we have also certified the police department in first aid and CPR. This coming year in 2024, February, we have stated that we will certify all the city employees in CPR and first aid, along with fire extinguisher training. That's something that was recommended by our OSHA inspector in our last visit. So we'll be incorporating that into our yearly training with every employee. We completed 815 building inspections, pre-plans. This is where we go through and look at all life safety code violations. We get familiar with the building. We look at electrical outlets, see who the owner is, to get their information at times when we might need to respond to that address, and we would just need that emergency contact information versus not having it. So we go through every business in the city, and it's good for us to get that familiarization, and also good with the business owners that we just kind of talk to and educate on life safety codes. We always do all of our own annual maintenance. This is anything to do with our apparatus, whether it be the pumps, the apparatus itself, small engines, those kind of things. We do all of that in-house. The city garage does help us on major issues when we just can't get to that so we do have people that's certified in the Hale fire pumps, so they're EVT certified, which means that they're able to work on those and be certified to do it. So it's good to have that internal connection with the people that know the equipment already. Hose testing. We tested 18,000 feet of hose. That's about 350 pieces. Each piece is taken off of the truck, tested at 300 PSI for 5 minutes, and then cleaned and put back on the truck. So that's a lot of hose, a lot of time that's taken out of the day to make sure that all the hose is certified. And that's an ISO thing that we have to do every year. So our ladder testing was completed last week. We had everything passed on our ladder testing. We did have some hydraulic issues on Tower 1, which is starting to show just a little bit of age. That's about 22 years old. And to replace that truck, it's a 25-year replacement, meaning that NFPA says that you can have that truck or do something with it for 25 years. So after that, you have to look at replacing it or refurbishing it, something like that. Today, the cost of that is $1.5 million, and that is a 3-year lead time. So if you purchased it today, you're looking at $1.5 million. You get it 3 years from now. That's how far behind they are on apparatus. So right now we're doing a cost analysis and looking at which ways the city needs to go as far as our best for our citizens, our fire department, and you guys. So we'll be in touch with everyone in the coming year, because obviously we need to get something on the books and get that going. Our air packs, we have 53 air packs that we test in each year, 2 RIT packs, which is what we would utilize to go in and rescue a downed firefighter. We have 156 air cylinders that have to be hydro tested every 5 years. We space those out between their life cycle. We do about 30 a year just to keep that under budget and keep that from being a fully strain on our budget each year. So that's a really good way to stretch all of those out, and instead of being replaced every year, every 5 years or so. So some of the equipment that we've purchased this year is obviously our Tahoe. That has replaced one of our pickup trucks or incident command vehicles, which we repurposed to the Public Works Department. They was in heavy need. It was in the end of our life cycle as far as emergency services go, so it did repurpose it to the Public Works, which was able to utilize that for another probably 10 years. We purchased Charlie Russell, our assistant chief, received a grant for $15,000 this year, and with that $15,000 we was able to purchase a 5-gas monitor, some additional trench rescue equipment, along with an air cart, which is part of the jack system, and filling the rescue jacks with air to expand them out to make it safe for a rescue situation. We purchased the thermal imaging drone. We're currently working with 3 members of our department to become Part 1 certified, Part 7 certified, which is a FAA license to be able to fly commercially. And you have to have that for be able to fly that, commercially over people and those kind of things. So we're working with them to get certified to do that. We have the new vehicle extrication equipment on order. That's a 12-week out purchase. So that's something that we'll be able to place additional rescue equipment on apparatus to better serve the community, and when we have multiple calls at a time, which we have often now. CSEPT purchased another 4-gas monitor for us, so we have one at Station 1 and one at Station 2. And CSEP also purchased a new dump tank this year. And I want to come back to talk a little bit about CSEP here in just a few minutes, but to go on with some of the equipment, we also fabricated a new enclosed trailer where we fabricated everything to hold all the rescue equipment for the trench rescue stuff. We installed and fabricated 2 additional Connex boxes that you might see at Station 2. That's part of our burn and victim search building. This will allow us to have realistic training at grade, above grade, and below grade fires. We can burn in one section of that, so we can practice, being at second floor going down, first floor going up. And there's different techniques that you got to take with the heat rising and everything like that to protect yourself and get the job done. So it's very good training that we was able to do with that. We also poured a 35 by 60 pad of concrete, and this is going to hold our vehicle fire prop, along with our propane cylinder prop and our dumpster fire prop. And we hope to get all of those props fabricated this coming fiscal year. So that's a lot of stuff to say, that we're doing all this in-house, everything that we do there, and saving a lot of money, for the city. And it gives us a lot of good training that we can do to prepare people to go to the IFSAC testing, which is a nationally certified testing site, to get this kind of skill set and be certified while doing it. Coming back to the CSEP program, as you all know, most of you are aware that the money is basically coming to an end. Those 2 items that you see, you've talked about, along with the radio system, is nearing completion in early '24. And we will be, this will bring hard decisions in 2024 also. Discussions that will have to be made together. If you have watched or attended the county, the State of the County address last week, you will know that Mayor Fraley, Mayor Blythe has agreed with Judge Executive Reagan Taylor to formulate a post-CSEP transitional task force committee chartered to facilitate a seamlessly transition from a county with CSEP funding and an emergency preparedness efforts to a community without federal funding. This is a very important, there's been a lot of good discussions going on, meetings have been taking place. I look forward to bringing some detailed information to you all in early 2024 to kind of see what that looks like later on. Also in 2024, we are facing another ISO audit. So our last audit was in 2019, which is when we was able to reduce the rate to a 2. The personal protection class went from a 3 to a 2 in 19. This is going to bring challenges to be able to keep that 2 rating in 2024. In 2024, we had 26 paid firefighters. We ran 3 apparatus on every call, and that plays a role in the calculations that takes place in the ISO rating. Basically, we was at an 80.36, and the range for a class 2 is an 80 to a 90. So we're just barely meeting that within tenths. So hopefully we can still work through some issues. I'll be working with Ms. Beverly and Mayor Fraley on what I see coming forward with that and how we can alleviate some of the issues that we find. Last, I want to thank each of you for your support throughout the year, trusting in me to be the leader of the fire department and to be over the budget that's being given to me. I also want to thank my staff for having a heart to serve and to overcome any issues they face daily in the work that they perform. May God bless each of you, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Sean. I'll make a couple of comments and I'll recognize Ronnie next. First of all, Sean mentioned the post-CSEP task force. Sean is serving on that. The county and the city of Richmond and the city of Berea each appoint 2 people. The people that I appointed, and I think that you all approved, if I'm not mistaken, are Sean and Rose to represent the city of Berea. They're 2 of 6 people, and Sean actually was chosen to chair that group. So Sean won't brag on himself, but I will, and we appreciate your leadership, and I think that shows that you're well respected by your peers throughout the county. The other thing is to compliment you on building a world-class fire department. Today I was meeting with an economic development prospect, and that comes up, and that's the way I described our fire department, that we have a world-class fire department. Your leadership, the training, and the dedication of the people that work under you is very impressive, and I'm very grateful for your service and the service of your entire staff. Ronnie.
Thank you.
Sean, I want to ask you if you'll keep another record for me. Every time the truck goes by my house, they set down on that horn. So will you start keeping account of it? Because
Well, Ronnie,
it doesn't make any difference what time of night it is or any of that.
I can assure you that that's a safety factor, and we have to utilize that horn when it is time to make sure everybody's safe.
That's why I want to keep you account.
Gotcha.
Other questions or comments for the fire chief? Jim?
Chief, you mentioned $1.5 million for a new apparatus. If you ordered one today, is that price guaranteed?
It would be guaranteed. I believe that there is ways that you can probably get a discount if you paid up front. Usually that's about 13% or something if you was to want to pay up front. And that's what we've done in the past, believe it or not. I mean, we've been able to make those purchases and pay up front and get a little bit of discount. But in this situation, it's so far out, it's hard for anybody to look at that today and say, that's 1.5 million, but we're not going to get it for 3 years. But then again, 3 years from now, it's liable to be, 1.8 or 9, and then you're still, the lead time's still out. So very difficult decision that we're going to have to look at. So that was a little bit different type of apparatus, but there was a $725,000 for the one that CSEP helped purchase, which was $400,000 from CSEP, and then we paid the additional $725 total. Yeah, so a little bit different. This was a dual axle platform with a bucket, 95 feet versus 78. Little bit of difference. Either way, that's a lot of increase. I agree.
Other comments or questions for the fire chief? Okay, seeing none. Sean, thank you for
see
your report.
one.
Oh, I'm sorry, Teresa.
It's fine. It's okay. I was just going to say to Sean, I appreciate your looking ahead like that, even though that kind of takes my breath away. But I have consistently been impressed by your budgets. You are watching it, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. All right, thank you, Sean. Any other department heads would like to address the council? No pressure. All right. Moving forward, we'll move to public comment, and if anybody would like to make comment, they're welcome to do so. Seeing none, we'll move to the city administrator report. Rose Beverly. Rose, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. It's that time of year where we have a lot of things going, but nothing's really going. Starting to go into the holiday season. I guess we're already into it, but it's getting heavier. And so we have a lot of projects, but I don't have any updates for you tonight on really anything. While I'm up here, though, I will say thank you for Sean and his department, and they're just so thorough, and they do such a great job. And I love the fact that that got brought up tonight with your fire truck, because that just shows that we really are looking forward, and it's in my brain with their fire truck too. And so we're all thinking about these big purchases and how we can be very studious with the taxpayer dollars and plan things out. And I appreciate you bringing that up tonight. But other than that, I will just take questions if you have any.
Questions for city administrator, Ronnie.
Rose, tell me about that Christmas tree out front, because I believe that's the prettiest thing I've seen around town. I mean, it really looks nice.
Yes. Well, I believe, and I'm telling stories that don't belong to me, but so hopefully I'll do them justice, but I believe that Donna found one that looked similar to that she really liked, and it was quite expensive, and she somehow gave the idea to Roy, and Roy was able to, with his team, fabricate that at the shop and then bring it down here and put it up, including the topper. So we have some really talented folks, and I think they did a great job, and we're very proud of them for that. It is beautiful. I agree.
Thank you.
Hopefully I told that right.
Thank you, Ronnie. Other questions or comments for the city administrator? Seeing none, thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is mayor comments, and I have two items. The first item is to compliment the Berea Chamber of Commerce and everybody that was involved in the Christmas parade this past Saturday. Thanks to the council members and others who were there to help distribute candy and represent the city, and also we did have a city department. I know Sean had fire trucks and police had police cars, but I think this time we had the utilities crew for the first time that was part of the parade, and we were glad to have their participation as well. So hats off to everybody involved, especially our Chamber of Commerce. It was well attended and well done. Something I look forward to each year. The second item is to report to you that we had a very successful Mayor's Merry Mingling event in Old Town. That involved a tree lighting, and that was Shop Small Saturday, or Small Business Saturdays when we did that. So my other reminder is to request all of you to encourage your citizens and others to shop local and to support Berea businesses when they're doing their holiday shopping this year. And would ask you all to pass that along and to encourage others to do the same. That concludes my comments, and we'll next move to council comments and begin with Ronnie Terrell. Ronnie. Mr. Cottle.
Only comment I'll make is everybody's favorite hobby for the last, 18 months has been to complain about the bypass, the new bypass. And it's open, and it's fantastic, and I will say that it appears that they did an exceptional job getting it done. The reason I bring this up is not to kind of poke fun at everybody making fun of it, although I do find it a little bit funny. But I I bring it up because it's easy for us in an age of instant gratification and assumption that we get what we want when we want it every single time. And we forget that that is a 45-year project. Is that all right?
1981 was the first mention.
Not quite 45. Close. 44. So 42. My point is that that's a project that took a very, very long time. And I also would like to, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that everybody in the city has done what they can to get those things done. But specifically, if you see people here in this room, our good mayor, Jim, that project only got done because of the advocation of council members at the time going to the state and saying, this really needs to get done. And so, again, we forget sometimes that maybe things don't happen as fast as we'd like. Maybe we don't think that it's being done the way that we would do it, but I don't build roads, and I don't know, couldn't even start to build a road. So they did a good job with it, and I would like to personally thank the work of my fellow elected officials to get that accomplished, because 5 years ago we were told that was not on the 6-year plan, and suddenly it was, and a couple weeks ago it opened. So we can complain all we want, but good work to all that were involved in getting that done.
Thank you, Steve. Jerry Little, Mr. Little. Next we'll move to Teresa Centers. Teresa, you have the floor.
Exactly, Steve. You're right on point with all that. And I will say that Councilman Rowlett, when in his former position, had a lot to do with that too. And I would like to wish him well as he recovers. And that's all I have.
And for the last word, Jim Davis.
Thank you, Sean, for your report. Teresa said your budget is always precise and to the point, and it is, and I too appreciate that. And I guess that's all I got.
Thank you, Jim. And without objection, I do want to recognize Virgil Burnside, who's joined us for the meeting. Virgil was a 17 years on Berea City Council. So, and also Jackie Burnside, who serves in the Berea Board of Education for Berea Independent Schools. Always recognize currently elected officials, but also our past officials. So we appreciate both of you joining us tonight. It's nice to see you both. If there's no other business to conduct, I'll request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Steve Cottle, is there a second by Teresa Centers? All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye. All opposed, please